The scourge of poverty, illiteracy and inequality is a burden that millions of children across the world fall prey to. Often, this is as a result of being denied the benefits and opportunities that a good education offers. Working within these communities in South Africa, the Imdaad Foundation attempts to make education more widely available and, more importantly, more affordable. Projects undertaken by the foundation include the provision of stationery, the building of creches and schools, awarding bursaries and scholarships, and implementing teacher training programs. Taking heed of the alarming levels of poverty within South Africa, and in keeping with the famous proverb that charity begins at home, the Imdaad Foundation has just completed the construction of its fourth state-of-the-art early childhood development center in Mangaung, Bloemfontein, South Africa. Similar centers have already been constructed in Escort KZN, Ladysmith KZN, and Bloemfontein in Gauteng. Whilst Imdaad continues its relief efforts across the globe, there are projects and programs closer to home that aim to alleviate poverty and improve the lives of fellow South Africans. Construction of the Early Childhood Development Center in Mangaung commenced in 2011, and work continued around the clock to ensure that it would be completed in time for the 2012 schooling year. This particular Early Childhood Development Center has been placed in the township of Batho, a highly impoverished area crippled by high unemployment rates and a lack of community facilities. The center will benefit more than 140 underprivileged children from the area. The handing over ceremony took place on Saturday, the 7th of January 2012, with high-profile dignitaries and politicians attending. The guest of honor was the President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Jacob Zuma. Other important guests attending the ceremony included the Premier of the Free State, Mr. Ace Magashule, the grandson of Nelson Mandela, Chief Mandla Mandela, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Zweli Mkhize, and the MEC of Social Development of the Free State, applauding the foundation for its sterling efforts in striving to serve poor South Africans. The Honourable President urged Imdaad to ensure its virtuous efforts continued beyond the Early Childhood Development Centre. Mr. Ace Magashule presided over the day's proceedings and also praised the Imdaad Foundation's noble efforts. In addressing the audience and the media, reminded them of the role Muslims have played in attempting to improve the lives of underprivileged South Africans. He emphasized that it was a moral and religious obligation to do so, stating that true happiness will only be felt once these young children pass through the gates of tertiary educational institutions. In concluding the proceedings for the day,
if you plan for 1 year, then you should plant rice. If you plan for 1 decade, 10 years, you should be planting a tree. But if you're planning for the future, forever, then you should educate the nation. Thank you very much.
The Imdaad Foundation, an organization which is just 9 years old, operating in about 38 countries across the globe. But with our disaster relief programs and social programs of an international nature, we take it upon ourselves to make sure that we focus on the needs of our fellow citizens within South Africa. As you can see, we are seated here in an early childhood development center, one of the classrooms, and this is the fourth center which the organization has built thus far, bringing happiness and benefit to thousands of children across the country. Thus far, we have rolled out 4 of these centers in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, and now here in the Free State. And we were quite honored that we had the Honorable President of South Africa, Mr. Jacob Zuma, who just inaugurated this specific center. But we would like to roll out these kind of centers across the country, and our target of rolling out such centers is 100. This may seem as a fairy tale, or may seem as a far-fetched idea, but I'm rest assured that with your support and jointly, we can make a difference in the lives of the thousands of young South African children who will be our future leaders of this country. Education is an integral part in the lives of anybody, and the foundation and the basis of the education plays a pivotal role. We need to give students and we need to give young learners the correct founding and the correct basic education and skills to carry them through to primary school, high school, and eventually to tertiary school. So this center, this Early Childhood Development Center, which the Imdaad Foundation has now began rolling out to various parts of various provinces in the country, is something which is going to help and assist these kids in enhancing their skills, their learning abilities, to continue their studies and eventually educate themselves so that they can also play a part, an important part, in alleviating poverty, not only in South Africa, but across the globe. The Imdaad Foundation is an organization which is striving to serve humanity.